Hey everybody out there, my name is Dragnix, and this is Overwatch Friday. Basically, I take some of the footage of the Overwatch that I played during the week and discuss a topic with you guys related to the gaming industry. This time around, I will be discussing about reviews and criticism of reviews. Now, you'll notice on the channel this week, I only got one review done. That's a little bit out of the ordinary for me. I usually get 2 reviews done a week. Well, considering that I'm working on Stranger of Sword City and Grand Kingdom, yeah, those are both huge RPGs. Not a lot got done in terms of actual editing of videos at this point because I'm still playing through those games and trying to finish them off. I was expecting a Zero Time Dilemma review being done by Friday this week, but I never got the code for the PC, and that's supposed to be given to me tomorrow at this point, so I'm going to have a busy weekend. But back to reviews. The one review that I did do this week was Valhalla, which I had a lot of praise for. The game did writing very well. The game is a nice little visual novel for 15 bucks. You should really check out the review if you have the time. The game has been getting a lot of good scores lately, including Tech Raptor's 9 out of 10. Perry wrote that review, you should go read it. I'll put it in the description below. And most of the people say that this is a great game. There is one review that sort of stands out, and it's one that I want to discuss with you guys, and that is the PC Gamer review. Again, I will link it in the description below. Now, the game got a 60 out of 100, and with the sort of rising scores that we've seen in the industry over the last several years, that may be considered a bad game by some. In my scoring system, it's sort of a sale title, but here, it's probably something that people won't look at least if they only use this score and this score alone. But okay, maybe the reviewer is just a little bit harsh in terms of their general reviews. Let's take a look at the history of the reviewer before we go into it any further. Except I really actually can't do that. Want to know why? Well, look at the author of the actual review. It's PC Gamer. Not a specific writer on PC Gamer, it's PC Gamer. Now, I understand why this is probably the case. As you've seen over the last couple of weeks, we've seen reviewers get attacked for their opinions on video games. For example, the Uncharted 4 review via the Washington Post, and the Stellaris review via IGN. Now, there was some good criticism in some of the comments left on those reviews, but let's be fair. Some of those comments, yeah, they were personal, attacking, and vile at some points, at least the ones that I saw. Now, that wasn't a majority of them, but there was a reasonable amount, enough that I could see a person getting a little bit taken aback if their name got out there and connected to the review. It's a tricky issue. On one hand, you don't want your reviewer being afraid to write what they need to write. You'd think that a writer would be able to write anything without any repercussions. That's why they got into the business to begin with. But let's face it, we don't like seeing personal attacks, and we don't like being attacked. It's just human nature, especially when you start self-doubting yourself in terms of what you've put out there. There have been plenty of times where I've, sat back and gone, have I gotten this right or wrong at this point in terms of review? Now, I've done it enough so that I am a little bit more confident in it, but even when a criticism comes up, I do take it to heart, even if it's one that's just trying to attack me. Now, luckily on this channel, I haven't exactly had that problem. About 99% of the comments that I get are positive or constructive, with that one odd one here and there. But the problem on the flip side in terms of the anonymous review is that the reader doesn't get any context in terms of the author in question. Whether the author has 1 review in their history, 10 reviews, 100 reviews. And the thing is, you don't know what kind of tendencies that reviewer has because of the lack of history. Now, that's still possible because, again, you have to start somewhere. You have to write your first review and put it out there even if it is anonymous or not. The thing is that in this case, you don't know. You don't know if this is somebody who's done 100 reviews before and just felt that this review in question would get them a lot of hate. Unfortunately, that leaves the consumer, aka the reader of the review, with a little less context, and context goes a long way with these reviews because of their subjective nature. Now, do I have a problem with the entire review? No, there are sections of the review that I agree with. It does a good job of setting the table in terms of some of the topics it will talk about. It does do a good job of explaining a little bit of the actual drink mixing system. But where I start to have problems with it is the storytelling, and in particular one section of the review that I feel is inherently wrong. The paragraph in question. All the women talk to each other like they want to have sex right then and there, which might not be surprising for a game that describes itself as waifu bartending, but it's not usually how women converse. Sure, there are women who are hornier than the guy who has to taste Viagra, but statistically, it's not every woman you meet, and it can be a bit tiring to have everyone wanting to get in your pants. Now, the issue I take with that paragraph in particular is the factual nature to it. In particular, the fact that there are several characters who have nothing to do with their sexual tension, at least at the forefront of their character. Characters like Sei, characters like Stella, sex is more of a background thing, and it's not really discussed in their character. Sei, for example, is sort of a hard worker. She's the one who's trying to be the sort of white knight for all these characters in question. And it actually is brought up at one point by Dorothy, the sex worker, that this person is married to her job, that sex is the last thing on her mind. So for them to say that all the women talk to each other like they want to have sex right then and there, I took a little bit of issue with that. So am I saying the reviewer is a liar? No, let's be clear about something. The reviewer took the plot elements that they perceived to be important, and things like the sexual nature of this plot could not necessarily trigger, but could spark people into focusing on those elements of the plot and forgetting about others. Now, it's in my opinion that a true good critic takes a step back to any personal connections they have with the story to see if the plot has other portions to it that they can connect to, or at least has a strength to. In particular, in this review, I don't think the reviewer did that. There's a lot of different plot elements in Valhalla, and I felt like they so focused on the actual sexual portions of the plot that they forgot about everything else, forgot about the interesting characters that have nothing to do with sex. Now, those of you who follow me and know me personally know my name is actually Sean Joy. Yes, I'm just going to put that out there because I do write for Tech Raptor. It's out there for you guys to know. You may notice that I actually commented it in the article, and I felt that was important for a couple of reasons. The first one has to do with presenting a better product for the consumer in question, aka the readers or the viewers. And the only way that that can be done in a consistent manner, in my opinion, is with criticism. Taking the comments, whether it be good or bad, and using them to build your library in terms of your skills. For example, if you go take a look at what I did early on this channel, it's a lot different than what I do now. And there's a reason for that. All the comments and all the feedback that I got from people like Don from Tech Raptor, people like Andrea, all those people, I'm able to take those and build myself up more. Have a list in terms of the things that I want to check off. Okay, let me turn off the sound, see how the game plays. Let me, turn my eyes off. Okay, not my eyes off, but, close my eyes and see if I can react via the sounds of the game. That helps me become a better reviewer, and it's you guys, the people who are watching the review and leaving comments, that makes us better reviewers. Now, is every piece of critical feedback important or actually going to affect the reviewer? No. In particular, if you're going about it in a destructive way, saying, oh, this review is shit, you don't know what you're talking about, and not actually providing context of where you have problems with the review, yeah, that's a problem, and that doesn't help anyone in that situation other than the person who's putting the comment out there feel good about themselves in some way. However, constructive criticism is what drives this industry, whether it be, well, actually every industry, whether it be art, whether it be, an auto manufacturer. Understanding what you're doing wrong and getting better is important to the human condition. And that criticism is needed, especially in criticism. Yes, criticism of criticism is rather important. The world needs good critics, people who can pinpoint where things went wrong, people who can take a topic and, give it to other people and say, hey, maybe look at it this way. Yes, in some cases, reviewers do go too far in that case, bringing personal issues into their reviews when they shouldn't really bring them in terms of an objective review. But in terms of pushing the boundaries of gaming, pushing the boundaries of storytelling, criticism is one of the most important things. And I don't think we would have reviews of games like The Walking Dead Season 1 and games like Valhalla if criticism didn't exist in the first place. But the second is to provide context for the readership, in particular with elements that I did not agree with. Yes, again, it is an interpretation. But in particular with smaller scored reviews, aka 60s, 50s, 40s, the first review being a bad one that you read, unfortunately will turn people off in terms of looking at the game. Yes, you'd think that maybe they would get a second opinion, a third opinion, and several people do. But when you see a bad score on a game, some people will turn it off and not even bother with other reviewers' opinions. And when you get that sort of mentality, it sucks because, again, the reviews are inherently subjective to some point. Now, you may think to yourself, well, how many people actually read the comments section of the review? Well, surprisingly a good amount at times. The fact is that all you have to do is scroll down the page in terms of seeing those comments and what other people have to say, as opposed to going to Google, looking for another review in terms of, okay, is it this site that I trust, so on and so forth. Yes, Metacritic and OpenCritic have made that a little bit easier with the aggregation of those reviews, but let's be clear, a click is actually rather important in terms of the overall laziness of people. People are a little bit lazy at times to click on another review, especially a written review in my opinion, in terms of, oh, I gotta read all this information, I gotta read this score, so on and so forth. And one of the best things that you can do is get a discussion going about games in terms of what people and other reviewers think about a game. You can find elements of a game that you may have never considered before. For example, when I was talking to Perry, who did the review for Tech Raptor, he had no idea that a certain plot element actually connected from the start of the game to the end of the game. And he was fascinated by the fact that I was able to catch that. Or at least he felt like he was fascinated. He was actually like, oh my god, this character's this? Holy shit, I would never have guessed that at this point. And it's those discussions that help us, again, improve criticism, but also connect with the games that we love. That discussion is rather important. And even though it can bring people who are vile at times, who all they want to do is hurt people, it is coming at a price if you don't allow that discussion to happen. And that discussion is important for the future of this industry. Now look, I'm one small reviewer. I'm nowhere near the size of PC Gamer, Kotaku, even Tech Raptor at this point. But the fact of the matter is that when taking a look back and seeing where the industry has gone, I've noticed the trend in terms of people not wanting discussions. People just wanting to take an opinion, or at least the critic who's actually putting the opinion out there, and not wanting to hear feedback from their work. Yes, I know that's not the case for several critics, and it may not be the case for this critic who may have just been afraid of the backlash of their certain opinion. However, it is a trend that I am noticing that is scaring me. We really need to find a way to find a happy middle, and I do think that solution is out there, whether it be moderation of the comments by a third party so that they take a look and be unbiased about it. Okay, this is a death threat? Yes, let's get rid of that. This is attacking the person personally and their, history. Yeah, let's take that out. This actually talking about the content of the review in question and questioning whether or not the decisions or the personal connections of the reviewer to the game are valid. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable comment to leave. And therefore, we need to find that happy middle. Part of the reason I started this channel and started taking a look at games was my concerns with reviews as a whole. The fact was, I saw too many personal connections in terms of the plot in question and letting that overwrite what the game might have done otherwise well. Yes, there are going to be parts that are going to turn people off, but if you so focus on that and don't give the other parts of your experience, then I think you're doing something wrong. And that's what the channel is built on, taking a step back, looking at a game as a whole, and trying to find the connections of this kind of person would like this kind of game. I do feel that that's what the industry needs to go towards. And there are certain elements of the industry that have gone towards that with things like the removal of, review scores as a whole. Anyway, I've talked a lot at this point. I hope I can get a discussion going about reviews and, comments and things like that. But I do want to give you guys a preview of next week like I do on Overwatch Fridays for the last couple of weeks. Zero Time Dilemma is going to be the #1 priority. I was supposed to get it Monday or Tuesday of this week. The PC version got delayed a little bit in terms of the keys given out. Vita versions and the 3DS version, they went out. But the game comes out, I believe, on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I will do my best to get it out by then. That will be my #1 priority. In the background, I've been doing Grand Kingdom and Stranger of Sword City. I don't know which one I will get done first. I actually think I'm almost complete the main story in terms of Grand Kingdom, and there's a lot of side portions that I really need to look at first, so that may come first at this point. But Stranger of Sword City, I've finally gotten over the hump in terms of the game's sort of hard nature, so I think I can go a little bit faster in terms of that review. Those are the two I'm going to be focusing on in terms of reviews. I want to focus on larger reviews at this point because they are helping the channel the most. Games like Valhalla, yes, they have helped the channel and got some more subs, but I feel like games like Knights of Azure, The Witch of the Hundred Knight, Limited Edition, they brought the most users to this channel, and like I've said before, I have to think about the subs at this point to keep this channel going. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Keep on gaming, and just enjoy yourself, enjoy games, and don't spend too much on the Steam sales. Okay, spend a little bit, but don't spend too much. Thanks for watching. Like the video, share it with a friend, and subscribe if you want more content like this. In the description below, you'll find the Steam review accompanying this vid, along with social media that you can follow me on, Twitter, Google+, and Facebook groups. And if you want to support the channel, click that Patreon on the left of the screen. And remember, keep on gaming.